All right, ready to get into this. We're tackling Smart Women Finish Rich today.
Yeah, a whole book packed with financial wisdom.
But don't worry about getting lost in the weeds. We'll pull out the most valuable stuff.
Right, like a highlight reel of the best tips and tricks.
Exactly. And, even though it says women, anyone can use these ideas.
Oh, for sure. It's about taking charge of your money, whoever you are.
Right. Now, one thing the book starts with is acknowledging some of the hurdles women can face.
Like maybe a longer time needing retirement funds or time out of the workforce.
Yeah, exactly. Having kids or caring for family can impact things, but it's not all doom and gloom.
No, not at all. It's more like knowing what you're up against so you can plan accordingly.
Okay, so let's talk about one of the things everyone mentions from this book, the latte factor.
Oh, yeah, that really gets you thinking.
It definitely made me look at my coffee habits a little differently.
It's amazing how those small daily expenses add up. Like $5 a day on coffee.
Yeah, this seems like nothing.
But over a year, that's nearly $2,000.
Wow, that's a decent chunk of change.
Right. It makes you think what you could do with an extra $2,000. A vacation. Paying down debt.
So it's not about never buying a latte again.
No, it's about being mindful and making choices that support your bigger goals.
Like that. So speaking of goals, the book really pushes figuring out what you want your money to do.
Totally. What are your dreams? Is it early retirement, travel, giving back to your community?
Yeah, because then it's not just about numbers in a bank account. It's tied to something you really care about.
Exactly. It makes the whole process more motivating. Now, once you have that vision, it's about building a strong foundation.
So what's that look like?
The book outlines 4 main steps: tracking your expenses, making a budget, paying yourself first, and automating your savings.
Okay, let's break those down a bit. Tracking expenses sounds pretty basic, but where do you even start?
You can use apps, spreadsheets, whatever works. The key is to see where your money is actually going.
Right, no more wondering where it all went.
Exactly. And then, budgeting. It's not about restricting yourself. It's more like a spending plan.
A plan that supports the life you want.
Yes. And then, paying yourself first. This one's huge.
I've heard that before, but what does it really mean?
It means deciding how much you'll save before you spend anything else. So it's a priority.
So not just saving whatever's left at the end of the month.
Right. And then automating as much as possible bills, savings transfers, even investments.
Ah, so you don't have to think about it as much.
Exactly. It takes willpower out of the equation. Now, let's talk about something that's a bit more complex but super important: compound interest.
That always sounded a little intimidating to me, to be honest.
I get it, but think of it like this. You invest $100 today, and it earns a decent return each year. Over time, that $100 grows without you doing anything else.
It's like free money almost.
In a way, yes. And the earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. That's the beauty of it.
Wow, okay, that makes it click a bit more for me.
Yeah.
Even small amounts can really add up over time.
Exactly. And this is especially crucial for women, with potentially longer retirements and career breaks.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Now let's move on to something that maybe we don't always want to think about: retirement planning.
Yeah, it can seem so far off when you're younger.
But this book frames it as something exciting, not something to dread.
Right. Imagine having the freedom to do what you love without worrying about money. That's the goal.
I like that. So how does the book suggest we go about planning for retirement?
Well, it covers different plans like 401ks and IRAs. It even explains Social Security in plain English.
Nice. So it's not all jargon and technical terms.
Not at all. Now let's tackle another big one: debt. It can feel so overwhelming for people.
Yeah, for sure. So what does the book suggest we do about it?
First, make a plan and focus on paying down high-interest debt first, like credit cards.
Makes sense. And while you're doing that, it's also important to build an emergency fund.
Yes. Having that safety net gives you so much peace of mind, like 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up.
So if something unexpected happens, you're not totally thrown off course.
Exactly. It's like a financial cushion for those bumps in the road.
One thing I really appreciated was how the book talked about mindset, not just strategies.
Yeah, that's so important.
Like moving from feeling overwhelmed to actually feeling empowered by your finances.
Exactly. It's about realizing you do have control. It's not just happening to you.
And it's never too late to start, right?
Never. It's always a good time to make a change.
But I think a lot of people get intimidated by all the financial stuff. It feels complicated.
I hear that. It can definitely seem like a secret language. But this book does a good job of breaking it down.
Yeah, it uses language that makes sense.
Right. Like having a friend explain it to you. not some stuffy financial advisor.
And I love that it encourages women to talk about money more openly, you know?
Yeah. Sharing experiences and not feeling ashamed to ask questions.
That's like building a community around it.
Totally. And speaking of community, while this book is for women, the ideas apply to everyone.
Oh, absolutely. Saving and investing are important no matter who you are.
Right. And it's interesting because while women face unique challenges, they also have some unique strengths.
Like what?
I'm curious. Well, studies show women tend to be more patient and disciplined investors,
Oh, interesting.
which actually can lead to better results in the long run.
So maybe being a little more cautious isn't always a bad thing.
Exactly. The book really encourages women to embrace those strengths.
I love that. Now let's talk about one of the most helpful parts of the book, the Finish Rich checklist.
Ah, yes. That's a good one.
It's like a step-by-step guide for the whole journey.
It covers pretty much everything, from figuring out your values to making a budget to investing.
You can keep coming back to it, right?
Absolutely. Life changes, things happen. So you might need to adjust your plan along the way.
Like if you change jobs or have a baby or even just, a global pandemic hits.
Exactly. The checklist helps you stay on track no matter what.
So whether you're just starting out or you've been working on your finances for a while, it's a great tool.
Like a personalized roadmap for reaching your goals.
I like that. So as we're wrapping up our deep dive into Smart Women Finish Rich, what stood out to you the most?
What really resonated or what questions do you still have?
Because reading is one thing, but taking action is what really matters.
Couldn't agree more. Even small changes can lead to big results over time.
And remember, it's not a race, it's a journey.
There will be ups and downs, but having the right tools and the right mindset will help you navigate it all.
Celebrate the wins, learn from the setbacks, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Now, here's a thought-provoking question to leave you with.
Okay, I'm listening.
Imagine you could sit down with your future self, the you who's achieved all your financial goals.
The you who's living the dream. Right?
Exactly. What advice would that future you give to you today?
What steps would they say to take? What mindset shifts to make?
Like tapping into your own wisdom,
It is. It can give you a whole new perspective on things.
So take some time to really think about this. What would your future self say?
And let those answers guide you as you move forward.
You deserve financial well-being. You have the power to create a life that feels aligned and fulfilling.
Yeah, it's like finally realizing you're not a passenger. You're in control.
Right. It's a good feeling.
For sure. And you know what else really stuck with me from Smart Women Finish Rich? It's not just about the money.
It's about the bigger picture.
It's about having a life that's rich in experiences and purpose, not just a big bank account.
Exactly. Using your money to support the things you care about. Having the freedom to make choices.
Yeah, like choices that feel good, not just financially, but emotionally too.
Absolutely. It's about aligning your money with your values. So as we wrap up, I want to ask you this.
Okay, shoot.
What's one small thing you can do, like today, to start making that happen?
Doesn't have to be huge.
Yeah.
Could be packing your lunch instead of eating out a couple times a week.
Yeah. Or finally setting up that automatic savings transfer.
Or maybe even looking into investing if you haven't already.
Even small steps can make a difference. The important thing is to get started. It's like picking a direction and taking that first step.
And who knows, maybe that one step leads to amazing things. Financial freedom, a life you truly love.
That's what it's all about. Thanks for diving deep into Smart Women Finish Rich with us today.
My pleasure. Remember, you have the power to create the financial future you want.
Absolutely. And we'll be back soon with another deep dive into a new topic. So stay tuned.